Okay, so we'll start now. Um, okay, so you received my module 3 notes. Module
Yes,
3
ma'am.
notes. You received module 3 notes, right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, how did you receive the module 3 notes?
Through
In
mail,
Word,
ma'am.
through mail fine. How it is, whether it is in Word or PDF?
Still I didn't open, ma'am.
Okay. Suppose let us take it is in PDF. Okay. Let me assume that it is in PDF. Then what if when you are reading, you got some example, means live example. Then what you will do? You were reading, okay, whatever I sent module 3, you started reading the notes. When you're reading, you got some idea, okay, if for this example I have to write like this. Then what you'll do? What you'll do? Yes, what you people will do? I have sent you module 3 notes and you started reading. Suppose I'll take an example. You started reading a page called process creation. When you're reading process creation, you got in your mind your own example. Then what you'll do?
We can edit that, ma'am. So we can add
You will,
our.
okay, you will add in your page, or what your madam sent you in that page.
In that only, ma'am.
Okay.
If it is document, we can edit in that only.
Okay, let me assume that it is Word document only. I have sent you Word document only. Then you people will start writing or editing in the copy. But what is that? That is a main source copy, or it is a copy of the notes? How is that? How is that? It's a copy of the notes. What madam has sent you, module 3? Yes or no? Or it is only one place? It is there in one place, the same place you're editing, or it is copy of the notes? How do you say? It is copy of the notes what madam has sent you, right? Okay, the same concept here. What we are doing here is copy on write. So the process creation, what we are doing is virtual memory and paging helps in process creation. Why do we require process creation? So virtual memory and paging helps. So two such techniques are discussed here. One is copy on write. So in your usually what we have a system calls. What is the system calls? System calls means you're using a built-in functions and you can start creating a process. Same way we have one system called as a fork, fork. That is a built-in function. What it will do is it will start creating the process. So usually a system called fork can be used to create a child process as a duplicate of a parent. So the same way, when I send you the word notes of module 3, then what you people do, you start reading one page. Then you got some idea. Then what you people will do, you start writing in your copy. Whatever I sent you, you have will be downloading. You start changing that in your word, not in the madam's notes, right? So that's what here. So what this will be doing is, we'll go back to the image, then we'll come back. So this is what here, the thing what it says is, we have one memory. What is that memory called? What is written on the middle one? What is the middle pro thing is physical memory. What it is? It is a physical memory. What are the two processors? Process 1, process 2. Okay, how many pages it is? How many pages are there? How many pages are there in this diagram? How many pages are there in this diagram?
3.
Okay, page A, page B, page C. Okay, then what it is? It is shared between process A and process 2. Yes or no? At least by this diagram, what you can understand, there are two process, process 1 and process 2. How many pages are there? Page A, page B, page C. Okay, so now when all these are sharing, when it is a read only, let me give you one example. If it is read only, means what? Both the process 1, process 2 can read the same memory location. Process 1 also will take page A, process 2 also will take page A. It start reading, it is not modifying anything. Let us assume that page 3 uh, page 3 wants something to be written. Yes, so process 1 wants something to edit in page 3. Then what it will do is, so it will take a copy of page 3. It will not take exactly page 3. Instead of that, what it will do, because it want to change something, so copy of the page will be created. So in the earlier diagram, what it was, where the pointer was pointing for page A, page B, page C. In page C, you can see both the process A, process 2, all these are pointing to A, B, C pages only. After some time, process 1 wants to change something in process page 3. But what page 3 will be done, it will not change in the original copy. It will take a copy of that page 3, then it start editing in a copy. That's what in this diagram you can see. The editing, whatever process 1 wants to do, that will be done in a copy of page C. Okay, so in process 2, what it is doing, it is again accessing the same original one only, page C. It is not taking page, it is referring to page C. It is not referring copy. Copy is referred by process 1. So that is what is called as a copy and write. What is this concept called? This concept is called as a copy and write. Copy on write. It's clear? So that's what here. Fork can be used to create a child process as a duplicate of its parent. Alternatively, copy on write technique can be used. In this technique, initially parent and child process share the same pages. These shared pages are marked as copy on write pages. That is, if either process writes to a shared page, a copy of shared page is created. For example, suppose the child process attempts to modify the content process of a stack, then what the operating system will do is, will take a copy. That's what I just explained. Parent is created page A, B, and C. The child copy wants to modify something. What it will do, it will take a copy. It will not do changes in this. That's what initially I told. I sent you a module 3 notes. I have sent, the original copy is with me. Whatever I sent you people, that is a copy of my module. So you can edit, do anything. But in original copy of module 3 is with me. I will not change anything. The child is something you people got the notes. You can do any changes. But it will not reflect me in my page. That's what here the copy and write will be doing. Therefore, the child process will modify its copied page and not belonging to parent process. So that's what here, whatever you want to change, you will write or edit in your pages, in your notes, not in your lecturer notes. Suppose if we assume lecturer notes is a parent one, and whatever I have sent you, that is a child copy, you can edit in a child copy, not in the parent copy, because parent copy is with your lecturer and not with you. So the copy of that parent notes is sent to you. So whatever the child notes is sent, you can edit anything. You can write on that. Whatever you want to add, you can add. That's the same way here. Copy on write will be doing in your operating system. And all non-modified pages will be shared by the parent and the child process. Pages that cannot be modified may be shared by the parent and the child. Copy on write is a common technique used by several OS when duplicate processes. So that's what here, let me explain again. Before modification, so before you modify, before operating system modifies anything, page A, page B, page C is shared between which processes? Process 1 and process 2 is shared between these two processes. Page A, page B, page C is shared between process 1 and process 2. So that's what here physical memory is doing. In this case also you can see process 1, process 2 want to edit something. So then you can't edit in a page C only. Instead of editing in page C, what the process 1 is doing, it will take copy of the page, there it can edit, and further whatever changes it want, it will be doing in a copy of the page, not in page C. Page C is referred by process 2. So that's the difference here, what it is being done. That's what is called as a copy to write. Okay, is this much clear? Copy to write. Copy to write means master page will be like that only. the copy of it, what you want to edit, you can edit in the copy, and later that copy will be with you only. Same way, whatever I have sent, I have my master copy, and whatever I sent you all the notes, that is a child copy. In child copy you can change anything, and that copy will be with you only. That's what here copy of a page. Okay, so that was a concept called as a copy to write. Next concept is a memory mapped files. So what is this memory mapped files is, I have one memory. Suppose let me say, take you have one page. In that page only you have to divide some address for memory, some address for input output. So that's what here memory mapped file. Input output allows file input output to be treated as routine memory access by mapping a disk block to a page in memory. A file is initially read using demand paging. A page-sized portion of the file is ready from the file system into a physical page. Subsequent read-write to from the files are treated as ordinary memory access. This technique simplifies files access by the following input output through memory rather than read write system calls. So what it will be doing is memory map is, because in the same way your data structure or your CN or Java programs, if you want to take any built-in function, suppose if I say you are doing your programs in C, so then what built-in function you are using for taking a value from keyboard, you are using a scanf, and what built-in function you are using to display something on the monitor, you use a printf. Same way here we use a read and write. So what is a system call for read? So it will read the value from the keyboard. What is a write? Write will be writing on the output screen. So that's what here these two are a memory mapped files. Okay, you can see here in this diagram there is only one memory address. So that memory address is shared between memory address and input output. So you can see there the other port. Suppose if I say now I am using a headset. So if I am using a headset, what I have to do, I have to connect to the laptop or a system. So then only I can use a headset. So in the same way, if I want to use a pen drive, then what port should be there? I should have a port where I can insert a pen drive. Same way here, I have a memory address, separate addresses. Input output, I have a separate addresses. But I am sharing all these addresses between memory and the input output. Same way here, suppose if I say, you would have known the port for pen drive can also be used for mouse, wireless mouse. Then what we have to do, we have to connect one port, CPU port, sorry, this pen drive port, whatever we have, that port should be connected for a wireless small one instrument will come where you have to put that, then you can use your mouse. Then what we have done, the same port can be used for your pen drive, the same port can be used for your mouse. It's the same port. Then simultaneously you cannot use, either you can use pen drive or you can use a mouse for that port. What we have done, what do it mean? It means that sharing of that port between a pen drive and a wireless mouse. If you want to use a wireless mouse, then what we do, we insert that particular hardware, then you can use your wireless mouse. Okay, and I cannot use that time pen drive, then what I have to do, I have to take one more port. Same way here, what is that concept is sharing. I am sharing a one port for my pen drive, same port can be shared for a wireless mouse. What it says is you can access both, either memory or either a pen drive. Same way here in this diagram you can see there are some addresses. Some are reserved for memory, some address are reserved for memory, some address are reserved for input output. Same way, now let us take an example of your classroom. So for second semester, one classroom is fixed, and for fourth semester, one classroom is fixed, and one more for final year, one more classroom is fixed. So if I interchange, suppose if you have elective, so second semester people also, suppose if you have elective, then how should we do? We have 3 classrooms, all 3 classrooms are running. Then if I have elective, 50 of you will go for one elective, another 50 people will come to another elective. Then what we have to do? Then we have to share the particular thing. One staff can take in one room, another set of students can go to seminar hall. Then what we have done? We have shared. Same concept here also. It is reserved for all this. You can share the memory address as well as the input output address. Okay, next one, page replacement. So what do we mean by page replacement? Let me take, you have your bag. Yes, you carry a bag for your college. Do you carry a bag for your college or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how many books you can keep in your bag? How many books you can keep in your bag?
5 to 6, ma'am.
Okay, let me say you have purchased a new bag and you start keeping first book. Okay, whether is it full, your bag is full? No. You start keeping second book. Is it full? No, it is not full. Then you keep third book. Is it full? No. You keep one more book, fourth book. Your bag is not full. You keep one more book, fifth book. When you keep fifth book, your bag is full. Now you have one more book, sixth book. Then what is the option for you now to keep your sixth book? What's the option for you to keep a sixth book?
We need to remove one and
Yes.
we have to keep.
Yes, which one will you remove? Out of 5 books, which one will you remove?
Which we are not using.
Yes, same way here, what we are doing here in page replacement is, we have to see which page I am right now not using, so that I can replace that page with a new page. That's what is concept called as a page replacement. To do this page replacement, we have 3 concepts called as a, one is FIFO. What is this FIFO called? First in, first out. We'll see what it is. Just have a glance. First in, first out. Whichever page has come first, that will be page moving out first. And the second method what we have is optimal page replacement. This is the second one. And the third one is LRU. What is this? LRU stands for least recent used. So we'll see in depth about all these one by one. Okay. So now page replacement concept, I think it should be clear. So because already 5 books are there in my bag, I have to keep one more book. If I want to keep one more book, there is no space in my bag. Then what I have to do, whichever book is not required for this day, I will remove that book and keep the 6th book. That is what is called as a page replacement. Okay. Okay. So in a multi-programming system, there are several processes running. In multi-programming means what? I have 5 processes. Each of these processes might have been divided into several pages. Yes or no? I have a process where I have a different several pages, like your 5 books. 5 books I am referring as 5 pages. Physical memory is divided into finite set of frames. So what is this physical memory? Your hard disk. Your hard disk, how much is your hard disk? Is it fixed or infinite? Our hard disk is fixed. Yes, fixed means what? There is some limit. Same way, how that is divided? That is divided into frames. Demand paging is applied for bringing the necessary page from a disk to memory. So what is this demand paging? Whichever is in that I want now, I will bring that page to my memory, and which I don't want, I'll send back to disk. That's what here demand paging will be doing. In such a setup, a situation may arise like this: a process request for a page which is not there in the memory. Hence, the process page fault will occur. Okay. So now in your bag, how many books are there? Suppose let us assume you have brought a new bag, and I will ask you, I mean CPU will ask you book 1, which is not there in your bag. Then what you have to do? You have to keep book 1 into your bag. If it is not there in your bag, because you bought new bag and there are no books in your bag, then and the CPU calls you, and I'll ask you, give me the record 1, give me record data structure record. You don't have in your bag. Then what is that situation is called? That situation is called as a page fault. What do we mean by page fault? in memory there is no page, but still the CPU is asking that page. That page is in memory. Then what you have to do? Load that page which is asked by CPU to your memory from a disk. Disk now means your hard disk. From hard disk you bring that page to the memory. Here memory means CPU memory, that is main memory. So but at this now this page has to be swapped from memory to a backstore, but at this moment no free frames are available. Now OS has to make the frame free by swapping out some of the frames to the disk and bring newly requested page into memory. This procedure is called as a page replacement. So that's what I told. You have brought 5 books in your bag, and in your 5 books I want 6th book to be kept in your bag, because there are no other. Now your bag is full. That's what your disk memory is full. Now there are no frames. Now what I have to do? Remove one page from the frame and keep one more. That is what is called as a page replacement. So what is a basic scheme to do this? Page replacement takes a following approach. How this will be done? If no frames is free, means your bag is full, 5 books are full. Now your your bag is what? Your memory. And frames is what? How much space? So how much space you can keep in your bag? 5, means 5 frames you can keep in your bag. Same way here, if no frames is free, we find one page that is not currently being used and free it. So the same way, in your bag 5 books are there. In 5 books I see which book is not right now not necessary. I'll remove that and bring one more book. That's what is done in the basics page replacement. Necessary changes has to be made in the page table to indicate that this page is no longer in memory. We can now use a free memory to hold the page for which the process is faulted. This logic is shown in the figure. We will see how we can do. Modified page fault service routine to include page replacement is as below. Find the location of a shared desired page on the disk. Find a free frame. If there is a free frame, use it. If there is no free frame, use a page replacement algorithm to select a victim frame. Where the victim frame to the disk, change the page and frame table accordingly. Read the desired page into a free frame, change the page and frame table. Restart the user process. So this is just explanation here. You can see in this diagram the page replacement. So there always whenever you change. So now I told you 5 books are there in your bag. So when you are removing one book, where you'll keep that book? You'll keep somewhere safe, so that next time when you want, you'll bring that book again. Same way here, whenever you change anything, keep it back in memory or keep it back in the disk. That should be saved safely, and whatever you have done, that should be reflected in a page table. That's what this diagram says to us. There are many page replacement algorithm. Just now I told there are some page replacement algorithm. Each one we'll see one by one. Every OS adopts its own page replacement scheme. The algorithm with the lowest page fault rate must be chosen. Page replacement algorithm is evaluated by running it on the string of memory reference. Normally, a reference string consists of number of indicated the sequence of pages required by the process for execution. For applying any algorithm for page replacement, we should know the number of frames available. The first page replacement. The first one in a page replacement algorithm is a first in, first out. So it is simplest page replacement algorithm. As the name suggests, whichever page comes first, that will be the page removed. We'll take one example that will be clear for you, but let us see what is first come first out. The first page which has been brought into memory will be replaced first when there no space for new page to arrive. Initially, we assume that no page is brought into memory. Hence, there will be few page fault initially. Then, whenever there is a request for a page, it is checked inside the frame. If that page is not available, page replacement should be taking place. Now we'll take some example and see how this first in first out algorithm or page replacement algorithm can be used. Okay, now consider reference string. So what is reference string? I have some pages. So you have so many pages. So in your report writing, you would have taken some printout. So which page should come next? Suppose if you have not written any page numbers, then how will you sort your page numbers? It will be very difficult to sort. That's the reason you should have a page number. Same way here, the process is requesting for some pages. Let us assume that the process takes 7, 0, 1, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 2. So like this, the process wants those pages or a reference string. How many frames are there? How many frames means in your bag, how many books you can fit? So let us right now, for example, we'll take that there are 3 frames. So you can see there are 3 frames, means you can keep in your bag only 3 books. So now page replacement according to FIFO algorithm is done as below. Okay, so now the reference string is first which book you are getting 7 and your frame is free, yes, free, then replace it 7. Okay, what is the next book you are having? 0. Now I am saying pages, so 0 is your book. Your frame is free, yes, then keep it 7, 0. Next, what is the next? You have book 1. 1 is coming. Your frame is free, yes, it is free. Now place it 7, 0, 1. That is what you have placed in the frame. Okay, what is the next frame? 2. That is your book is 2. Now which one should I remove from the frame so that I can keep 2? That's what I told. Which book you will remove from your bag, because you have already kept 5 books. 6th book is there. Which book you will remove? Which book you will remove? That's what. Which book you have to remove? The book which you have kept first. Which book did you keep first? In our example, 7 is the first book which we have kept in the frame. So now remove the 7 and remove the 7. Which one we have to place? 2 you have to place. Okay. So now come back 0. What is next one? 7 we have done, 0 we have done, 1 we have done, 2. Because I have to keep 2. And how many frames I have? I have only 3 frames. 7, 0, 1 I have placed. And which was the first frame come? 7. So I have removed that 7 and I have kept 2. Okay. Now which is the next one? 0. So check whether 0 is already there in the frame. Yes, it is there. So now don't replace. Next one, 3. So 3 is there in the frame? No. Okay. Now apply first come first out. After 7, which was the frame came? 0. So remove 0, place 3. Now 2, 3, 1 is in the frame. Okay. Next one is what? 0. 0 is there in your frame? No, it is not there. Then which one should you remove? Which was the last one which has come? 1. So remove 1, keep 0. Okay, next one, 4. Which was the first one? Last one, which was the first one? Before 3 and 0 was 2. Remove 2, keep 4. Yes? Able to understand? First come, first out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next one, which one is coming? 3 is coming. Now 4, 2, now remove 0, then 3. Like this, we should keep proceeding till I complete all the pages which are there. Yes, clear about this first one, first come, first out. Whichever book is you are keeping first in your bag. 6th book, because you have to keep the 6th book in your bag. Then what you'll do? Remove the first book which you have kept and keep the 6th book. Okay. Now your bag is full. Now you have 7th book. Now which book you'll remove now? Which book you have to remove according to first come first out? If 7th book I have to keep in your bag, which book you'll remove? 2nd book you'll remove, right? Okay, now you are removing 2nd and you are keeping 7th book. Next is 8th book I have to keep 8th book. Then which one will you remove? Which book you'll remove? Which book you have to remove from your bag? Anybody? Which book you'll remove from your bag? Which book you'll remove from your bag? Third book you'll remove from the bag. And ninth book. Now how many books you have removed? You have removed 1, you have removed 2, you have removed 3. Now how many books you have? 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 8th book has come where you have to keep in your bag. So this is what is called as a first come first out concept, where you're replacing means changing the page. This is the first algorithm in a page replacement. That's what the explanation here. Sometimes one may feel that increasing in the number of frames may decrease the page faults, but this is not true always. For example, in the referencing we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 like this. Now the number of page faults for 3 frames will be 9, and number of page faults for 4 frames will be 10. Such unexpected result is known as Belley anomaly. It can be stated as the page fault rate may increase as the number of allocated frames increase. Okay, so the second method of keeping books in your bag is a optimal page replacement. What do we mean by optimal page replacement algorithm is, suppose now how many books you can keep in your bag? 5. Okay, now 6th book is there. So in a first come first out, what did we do? We have removed the first book and you have kept a 6th book. Okay, now in optimal page replacement, what you have to do is you have to see how many still books I have. I have 7. Now I have kept which one, how many books are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books are there in your bag. 6th book is there, and 7th book is there, 8th book is there, 9th book is there. Okay, so now you see forward which book is wants you next, which you don't want for some time. Then you remove that book, that which is there in your frame, then replace with the 6th one. So that's what is called as a optimal page replacement. An optimal page replacement algorithm, also known as OPT or minimum algorithm, do not suffer from Belley anomaly. It is stated as replace the page that will not be used for a longer period of time. Yes, so that's what you have kept 5 books in your bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, second book or third book is a rough note. Yes, so let me say first book is your data structure record, second book is your CN record, third book is your Java record, fourth is your rough note, fifth is your some classwork. Then in optimal, I want to keep 6th page in your 6th book in your bag. Then which book I have to remove? I will remove rough note, because I don't want rough note, and I'll keep a 6th book. So this is what is done in your optimal page replacement. For long time I have not used, I don't want to, which page I have not used for a long time, remove that page and replace it. So let us take an example here. I have a string. I have which string? I have 7, 0, 1, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 2, 3. So like this, I have so many pages. One after the other, I have to place it in the memory. And I have to see whether memory is free or not. So that's what here, considering same 3 frames, how much is memory I have? 3 frames I can keep. First time I have started now. So 7. My first string is 7. I'll see in a frame whether frame is free first time. Yes, frame is free. Then I'll keep 7. Okay, second one. What is the second one? I have 0. Frame is free still? Yes, it is free. So I'll keep 7, 0. Okay, next one is 1. So 7, 0, 1. Because memory was free, I have kept 1. Okay, next one 2. So next one I have 2. Which one should I remove out of 7, 0, 1? I will see further. So after 2, which one is there? 0. After 3, which one is after 0? Which one is there? 3. After 3, which is there? 0. After 0, 4. After 4, 2. Like this, I have so many pages. That's what here. which one is not recently want? I don't want 7 for longer time. So I'll remove 7 and I'll keep 2. Okay, next I have 0. 0 is there in the memo frame. Yes, it is already there. Next one is 3. And again check whether 2 is used for longer time. Yes, it is used. 0 is used. Yes, it is used. Then 1 still it is long time where I want 1. So now remove 1, keep 3. Okay, next one 0. Now 0 is already there, so don't worry. Go to 4. Now I want to keep 4 into the frame. Which one should I remove now? 2. Should I remove 2? No, because it's already there in the memory. Because it is asking next, so I'll not remove. Next is 3. 3, it's there in memory. It is asking the second one, so I'll not remove 3. 0. Okay, so now remove 0, keep 4. Okay, now come back. Now 2, 4, 3. It's there in the frame. Next one 2. 2 is there in frame. Yes, it is there. Then 3. Yes, it is there. Now come to 0. 0 is there in the frame. No, it is not there. I have to bring that page. Which one should I remove now? See next. Which one I require next? Next 3 is required, 2 is required, 1 is required. Do I require 4? I don't want 4. So you see like that till the end. 4 is not required further. So remove 4, replace 0. Next is 3. 3. So then 3 is there. Yes, it is there. Then 2. Yes, it is there. Then 1. 1 is there in the thing? No. Now I have to replace something which is removed from my memory. Which one should I remove? See which one is not required for further. So when we see further, 3 is not required further. So remove 3 and keep 1. Now again go for 2. Yes, 2 is already there. 0, it's already there. 1 page is already there. Now 7. Which one should I remove now? See further, 0 and 1 is required. 2 is not required further. So remove 2. Then 0, then 1. So this is called as a optimal page replacement. Clear about this? Optimal page replacement means whichever recent, now I don't want for some time. Okay, let me take same your bag example. So you have kept all 5 books. And for today, you're carrying these 5 books. Tomorrow you'll come to college. Those 5 books, you'll see your timetable. Which one is not required, you remove that, and whichever is required for your next day timetable, you keep those books. That is what is called as a optimal page replacement. And here you see how many times we have removed the thing, means which was not there in memory. That is, we are calling it as a page fault. The optimal page replacement algorithm is difficult to implement because it requires future knowledge of reference string. Here what we require, I should know what is required next, what is they may ask next, what they may ask next, because I have to predict for future what pages the CPU may ask. So that prediction is difficult. That is a disadvantage of having a optimal page replacement. So the next one is LRU. What do we mean by LRU is least recent used page replacement algorithm. Least means which I have already used, which I may not require. So that's what is least recent used page replacement algorithm. So replace the page that has not been used for the longest period of time. So for some time it is not used. So take an same example, 70 something. Start from 7. Memory is free. Keep 7. Second one is 0. Memory is still free. Keep 0. Next is 1. Memory is free. Keep it 701 in the frame. Okay, now 2. So in 2, I have to keep 2. When I have to keep 2, which one should I remove? Should I remove 0, 7? Should I remove 0? Should I remove 1? Which one should I remove? So what we do in LRU is go back. Which was the last kept 1? Which was the last kept 0? Which was the last 7? So now remove the 7 and remove the 7 and keep 2, 2, 0, 1. Next is 0. 0 is there already in the memory. Not to worry. Next one 3. Come to 3. Okay. Which one was the last kept So 0 recently we have kept. 2 was before that. Before that 1 we have kept. So remove 1. So 2, 0, 3. So which one we have to remove? 1 we have to remove. Next 0. So which one is 0? So 2, 0, 3. So that's what you removed 0. Next is 4. So now which one should I remove? Recently I have kept 0. 3 was a second. 0 was there. For that 2 was there. So now you can remove 2. So next 4 you have kept in place of 2. Now come 2. So which one was last used? 3 was the last. So remove 3, keep 2. Now 3. So which one was before? 0. So remove 0, 3. So like this we have to keep all the frames till the end. That is what is called as a least recently used page replacement algorithm. The number of page faults are 12. What do we mean by page fault? Which is not there in memory. I am requesting that page from memory, from disk to memory. That's what is called as a page fault. So this is about a LRU algorithm. Is this clear? LRU? LRU is clear? How many page replacement algorithms we have? First one is a first come first out. Next one is optimal. Next one was LRU. So what is FIFO? Whichever page comes first, that should be removed first. Then in optimal page, I should see further which page you require first, which one you want last. So the last requested one you can remove. Whereas in LRU, you see back. In optimal, you see further, front. In LRU, you see back. Which one was last used? That one you have to remove in a LRU. That's what is called as a LRU page replacement. So the major problem in LRU algorithm is hardware implementation. So though we say LRU because we see back which page last used, that you are removing. But what with respect to hardware implementation, we have some problems here. So there are two approaches for hardware implementation. One is counter and another one is a stack. So each page table is associated with a time of use field, and CPU is added with a logical clock or a counter. When a page need to be changed, look at the counter to determine which page has to be changed. So in implementing the hardware, so what we do is you have to keep counter. So now we take attendance each day. So now even in a Google Meet also we have a automatic attendance. If you just use a plug-in into your Google Meet, automatically the attendance will be stored in the Google Meet. So for us, it is giving us burden down. Same way here, counter. Then next one is a stack. So keeping a stack of page numbers, wherever the page is referred, it is removed from the stack and put on the top. This way, the top of the stack is always the most recently used page and the bottom is the least recently used page. To maintain this stack, a double linked list can be used. So because you know the concept of stack. Stack means whichever is the top, you keep removing. And the last one will be bottom, which you cannot remove. Then in that case, instead of stack, you can use a double linked list. So which you have studied in your data structure. So allocation of frames. So how do we allocate the frames? Allocation of limited set of free frames to all processes is challenging. How many frames must be allocated to each process is a question of interest. In a single processor system, if only one process has to be executed, all available frames can be allocated to that process. If there are more pages than the frames and the request is made for a new page, then page replacement has to be done. But in case of multi-programming environment, there will be more than one processor in memory at a time. Now the logic used in single processor system does not work. So that's what here. If it is a single processor, like means if I say if you are using only one bag, then fine. But if you are using two bags, then what I have to do? Because 5 books you are keeping in one bag, in another bag you are keeping some more books, then how should I decide which book should be there in which bag? Same way here, if it is multi-programming, then we have to apply a different technique. Okay, so minimum number of frames. Minimum how many I can keep in your bag? Minimum 0. Without books also I can bring back. With just keeping my pen, pencil, eraser, or one page also I can keep in my bag and bring. Or what is a maximum? A maximum in my bag I can bring 5. Same way here, minimum number of frames. Allocation of frames has various constraints. We cannot allocate more than total number of available frames. Same way here. So if I have 5, I can keep 5 books in my bag. I cannot keep 10 books in my bag. We must allocate at least minimum number of frames each process. That's what here. If I come to college, I have to keep at least one book in my bag so that my bag will be straight, or else it will be folded. That's what here minimum. In most of the cases, as number of frames allocated to each process decrease, the page fault increase. This will slow down the process execution. In general, each process should get a minimum number of frames, and this minimum number is defined by the instruction set architect. Remember that when a page fault occurs before an executing instruction is completed, the instruction must be restarted. Consequently, we must have enough frames to hold all different pages that any single instruction can refer. The maximum number of frames that can be allocated process depends upon available physical memory. So when you buy your laptop, you see what is the size of your hard disk. What is the size of your hard disk right now? If your new laptops, how much is a hard disk size? So it will say whether it is a terabyte or a gigabyte laptops is right now available. Next one is global and local allocation. So what is global variable and local variable with respect to your programming? Global means what? You declare before you start your main program, and that variable can be used with main function or if you are writing any function. What is local? Within a function, if you are using, that will be within that. So that's what a global and local allocation. As multiple process competing for frames, the page replacement algorithm can be classified into 2 categories as explained below. One is global replacement, another one is a local replacement. Same way like your global declaration of variable and local declaration of variable. So global replacement means what? Top. Replace your page at the globally. It allows a process to select a replacement frame from a set of all frames, including the frames that are being used by other process. High priority process can select a replacement from a lower priority process. Number of frames allocated for a process may increase or decrease in the course of execution. A process cannot control its own page fault rate, as a process depends on paging behavior of other process also. Its performance may vary from one execution to another execution. This method results in great throughput. That's what here, if I replace globally, what are the problems and what are the things will happen when we are doing a global replacement. The same way local replacement, like your local variable. So hence the process can choose a replacement frame from only its own set of allocated frames. If the number of frames allocated for a process remains constant in the course of the execution, the process depends only on its paging behavior. Hence the performance is constant. So that's what here in a local, the performance will be constant, but whereas in global, it depends upon what is the throughput of your processor. That's what the allocation of global and local variable. The last topic here, thrashing. So what do we mean by thrashing? If the number of frames allocated to a low priority process falls below the minimum number required by the computer architecture, we must suspend the execution of all the processes. Suppose now I have started a class, and how many people, at least minimum of you have come, and if no one is coming for the class, then I can suspend the class. Same way here, thrashing. We should then page out its remaining pages, freezing all its allocated frames. This provision allocates swap in, swap out level of intermediate CPU scheduling. Whenever any process does not have enough frames, it will page fault, will occur a page fault. At this point, it must replace some pages. However, since all its pages are in active use, it must replace a page that will be needed again right away. Consequently, it quickly faults again. So this process is a high page activity is called as a thrashing. There is one or 2 minutes, I'll complete. Thrashing affects the performance of CPU as explained below. If the CPU utilization is low, we normally increase the degree of multi-programming by adding a new process to the system. The global page replacement is used, hence the new process replaces the frames belong to other process as well. As the degree of multi-programming increase, obviously there will be more page fault leading to thrash. When every process starts waiting for a page rather than executing, the CPU utilization will decrease. So this problem is shown in the figure, that is a thrashing. So that's what here you can see, degree of multi-programming increases, CPU utilization will be it will be more, and if there is a replacement, then there will be a thrash. Same way here, how many of you are coming daily, or only some out of 53 students, how many are coming for online classes? Only few of you are coming. That's what here. Similarly, if no one is coming every day, then we'll suspend the online classes. Same way here, thrashing. So I'll stop here, and this ends your unit 3, and we'll start with unit 4 in the next lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.